109 right now. You're at 109 right now. You're at 109 right now.
Hey everybody, 2015 I took this photo at Goodies. That's Goody right there. It's a dive bar in Fukuoka, Japan. If you're ever in Japan, if you're ever in Fukuoka, which is in the Kyushu prefecture, go to Goodies. Goodies is a good dude. He lived in California. Goody, when I first met him, Goody said to me, "Do you know Crenshaw?" And I was like, "Of course I know Crenshaw, bro." I was surprised he knew about Crenshaw. But Goodies is a genuine dude. He lived in California, lived in L.A., and he went to a lot of soul and R&B shows where he took a recorder and recorded live shows, which definitely wasn't. I mean, it isn't legal, to record music like that, or was it? Was it legal? Well, to play back copyrighted music like that, there are all those concerns. But back in the day, I'm sure it wasn't. It wasn't even frowned upon. I don't know. Who knows? I really don't know. But that's what Goody used to do. He used to record live shows. So at his bar, he might play a tape or something that he recorded live, and you'll hear some live James Brown, because James Brown was his favorite, of course. James Brown, some Barry White, some, I don't know, you name it. But he has a whole big collection of songs, of records, and what have you. He's a DJ, so he'll just grab a record from his collection and then put it on the turntable and play it at his bar, in this tiny dive bar. He has all this ephemera, these memorabilia, these little statuettes of black people. It's not offensive because I sense the genuineness from Goody. He's not just putting this stuff out there just to be like, hey, I'm cool, come and stay, come and visit my shop, have a drink here, nah. Genuine dude. Genuine dude. These are some pictures of his patrons. Just giving you a little bit of the vibe, little photo that I took here and there. Here goes a black man, a brother who stopped in. And I talked with him, chopped it up a little bit. I said, "Hey, man, so you found Goodies?" He said, "Yeah, man, this is a cool spot." I said, "All right, man." He lived and worked in Japan for quite some time. So I was happy to see another brother, stop by. He didn't see anything wrong with all of the black statuettes and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, when I went to Goodies, or rather when I was in Japan, I was getting away from Korea because Koreans made it difficult for a black man to exist in their society. I lived in Korea for nearly a decade, and there were some things that just, rubbed me the wrong way. Now, mind you, I haven't lived in Japan, so maybe the Japanese could rub me the wrong way. Certain things could, bother me, but Japan was my oasis away from Korea. And for what I found in Japan, I was quite pleased to be there. So finding, a black, uh, a bar that appreciates, that shows an affinity for, black music and black culture, well, that was just phenomenal and just heartwarming for me coming from Korea where I didn't see that. In Korea, I found like some hip hop, uh, some, what is it? I found like the Koreans, some had an affinity for hip hop music, and there were some bars with some murals of, Tupac and Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and I think Eminem, and it was like, oh, okay, that's cool, but this was different. Goodies was really different because Goody had a huge collection. Look at all those records, those vinyl, that collection of vinyl there. If you've been to Japan, if you've been to one of these dive bars or any, music oriented lounges where they've curated a library of vinyl records. You know that the owner, the curator, is an interesting dude, to say the least, right? This is the signage outside. Goodies R&B Soul Bar. There's Chadwick Boseman poster when he was James Brown and in that movie. There it is again. So that's the Japanese poster. That'd have been cool to to take a Japanese poster, bring it to America, I guess, and have it framed. That'd have been cool. This is the street. I think this is in. Yeah, this is in out there in Japan. In order to get between Korea and Japan, I took this ferry. So I'm riding the ferry to get to Japan. So we're going back in time. So this was coming from Korea, so I think we heard some Korean spoken over the loudspeaker rather than Japanese. All right, it just looped, so we went back, so we're going to move on. Yep, this is the map. So I was leaving from Busan, and I was going to Fukuoka. That's where I was going. And surprisingly, that ferry, it takes 3 hours, but it could only cost, sometimes it was only like $30 one way. So like $60 round trip to travel between Korea and Japan. Like, man, you can't beat that. If you had 3 hours if you had 3 hours, might as well. If you had 6 hours, 3 on the way in, 3 on the way out, might as well. Like, who cares, right? Just plane rides, $100 and some odd dollar, $150 round trip, $60 on the ferry, and it's a pleasant ride too. So the thing about it is, on October 6, 2015, I was riding the ferry back to there. It says it right there, from Hakata to Busan, and I looked at the call numbers for my trip, and as you can see, it says JF109 or Japan Ferry 109, which I thought was so peculiar and cool because 3 days before my birthday on 10/9,
You're at 109 right now.
I was staring at 10/9 on my ticket. I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. But then something else happened when I got off of the ferry. Then I had to take the train, and I had to take the train home. I bought a ticket, and I discovered that my seat was in row 10. And it was so curious. It was such a peculiar moment. It was like, okay, wait a minute. Why did they assign me a seat in row 10? Like, did they look at my birthday and then just decide, oh, he was born in October, that's the 10th month, we'll just put him in row 10? Like, is that how they decide where to assign you? I just thought it was quite peculiar because when I got on that train, it was mostly empty. And I could have been seated in row 7, 20, 13, whatever. But I was seated in row 10. And when I looked up, the reason why I took this photo is because I looked up from my seat and I saw row 10 right there, and then to the right is row 9. So I was basically looking at my birthday there, 10/9. Again,
You're at 109 right now.
I was taking some pictures at work, making a video. Hi, my name is Larry, and I'm interested in helping you improve your English. So I was just doing that, trying to get some extra money on the side. I wanted to upload my videos onto some website and, attract some students who wanted to learn English. I was already an English professor or a teacher, an assistant professor at a university in Korea, but I certainly could use some extra money. So I had plenty of time on my hands. I had a 9-hour work week. Boom, for real. All right, so I took this picture as I was walking around the campus. It might have been still 3 days before my birthday. It might have been 2 days before my birthday. I don't remember. But I noticed that this car had 109 in its license plate in that particular order, 1, 0, and 9.
You're at 109 right now.
And I was like, hey, look at that. I noticed it, you dig? I was walking the campus. I wasn't looking for 109. I just happened to pass this car and I said, you know what? I need to document all of these moments when I see these numbers because I had already had, let's go back, that moment when I got on the ferry and there it was. Those were the call numbers and I was like, hey, that's interesting. And then I got on the train to go home and there I am seated in row 10. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then I get back to the school and I'm walking across the campus and I'm like, hey, look, that's interesting. There it is again. Now, I had to make my way to this building, and now I guess you could say I was fixated on these moments like, yo, there's 109. There it is again. There it is again. There it is again. Because in this case, when I went over to this building, as I was entering the building, I saw these numbers. Still, it was maybe 2 or 3 days before my birthday. And it caught my eye because I was doing the math and I thought, wow, 107 add 2 and you get 109.
You're at 109 right now.
So I had to snap that photo like, hey, I keep seeing 109 everywhere that I go. Even though this technically, this is not 109, but it kind of looked like 109. Or maybe it looks like 107 minus 2. So for someone else, it might be October 5th, for 105. But in my case, I'm just fixated on 109. So I'm like, oh, it's a 109 thing. Whoops. Okay. That was, what's her name? That's Cindy. Cindy's in the Philippines. Yeah. We're going to leave that there. And so that's the point. That's the point. That's what was happening in 2015, around the time of my birthday. 3 days before my birthday, this is what was happening. I had traveled from Japan, where I was chilling with Goody, chilling at Goody's, and I wasn't even thinking about my birthday. I mean, well, it was on my mind. I was like, this was an early celebration. I was celebrating my birthday early. You dig? I was like, I'm not going to just stay in Korea around my birthday. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to turn up, And so I went to Japan to celebrate early, and I guess Japan was celebrating my birthday. Japan was celebrating my birthday, and then I get back to Korea, and Korea is celebrating my birthday too. So I guess that's what it is.
You're at 109 right now.